Hello, everyone. Welcome to the serial lectures on traditional Chinese culture. Chinese ink painting is the mainstream of traditional paintings. It has hardly any match. It is exquisite and unique. Black ink on snow white rice paper with a writing brush. Sometimes only 3 cucumbers and 2 chickens in the corners. The rest of the tableau is blank. Today, we will appreciate Chinese ink painting. First, shall we probe into the historical development of Chinese painting? The roots of Chinese painting can be traced back to Neolithic age, 7 or 8,000 years ago. Here is the colored pottery with fish pattern of Yangshao culture in Neolithic age, in the middle reaches of the Yellow River, on show in China National Museum. The colored pottery with painted animals, mainly fish, deer, and frogs, indicates that during the Neolithic period, the Chinese had already started to use brushes to paint. The animals are mainly fish, deer, and frogs, all with a lot of seeds. We can also see the sun in the sky, the symbol of man expressing masculine beauty, and water below, the symbol of woman embodying feminine beauty. This is a kind of sex worship. In the ancient times, life was very hard and tough for our ancestors. Survival and reproduction were of cardinal importance. Virtuous ladies are chaste women. It is the figure painting painted by Gu Kaizhi of the Eastern Qing Dynasty, praising the wise virtues of women. The hand scroll is 470 centimeters in length. Gu Kaizhi used iron wire line drawing. The line has no change in thickness, like iron wire, strong and vigorous. The dresses are flowing and fluid. Chinese graphic art largely depends on lines and brush strokes. The lines and strokes are meticulous, detailed, elegant, and graceful. Admonition to Women was painted by Gu Kaizhi of the Eastern Qing Dynasty, giving advice to women in the imperial palace on how to behave properly according to Confucian ethics. The lines and strokes are vigorous and stylish, yet refined. The hand scroll was nearly 350 centimeters in width. iron wire line drawing was used. It is an early masterpiece of making the form show the spirit. Ode to Deity was painted by Gu Kaizhi of the Eastern Jin Dynasty. It is one of the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. The hand scroll is about 570 centimeters in width. The verse Ode to Deity of the River was written by Cao Zhi, a famous literary figure depicting the love story between the scholar and the goddess of the river, vividly expressing feelings and sentiments. Iron wire line drawing was used. The painting is poetic and sentimental, full of artistic conception, making the form show the spirit. In the Tang Dynasty, culture flourished with economic development, and the painting was elegant in style, reflecting the prosperity of the Golden Age. Heavenly King delivering Son was painted by Wu Daozi of the Tang Dynasty, depicting the birth of Sakyamuni, the Buddha. Sakyamuni was the prince. When he was born, his father took him to worship the celestial deities. The hand scroll is 338 centimeters in width. Wu Daozi created orchid leaf line drawing. The line changes in thickness like orchid leaf. The lines of the curves are fluid and flowing, as if fluttering in the wind, vividly depicting the flavor and tone. Wang Wei, a poet of the Tang Dynasty, was generally acknowledged as the first ink and wash painter in Chinese history. A Brook in the Snow was a masterpiece, depicting a brook in the wild. The black and white wood, with no color, but black ink, just one fold, reproducing a carefree and peaceful snowbound world. We can see cottages, canoe, and bridge. Chinese artists have a fervent love for the black and white world, simply with black ink on white paper, without bright, gorgeous colors. The use of ink can express the 5 colors. Extreme splendor ends in plain. Later, ink and wash painting gradually evolved as the mainstream. Painting of Imperial Carriage was painted by Yan Liben of the Tang Dynasty. It is one of the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. The original is lost. Here is the copy of the Song Dynasty. Emperor Li Shiming of the Tang Dynasty was one of the greatest emperors in Chinese history. He was sitting on the Imperial Carriage, surrounded by graceful court maids. He was handsome, solemn, dignified, and amiable. He was receiving the Tibetan envoy. The man in red is the marshal, the master of ceremony. The envoy was rather thin, looking humble, sincere, polite, and somewhat nervous. The lines are fluid and expressive, with no background. Spring outing of Madam of Guo State was painted by Zhang Xuan of the Tang Dynasty. It is one of the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. Madam of Guo State was the third elder sister of Yang Yuhuan. Yang Yuhuan was the concubine, the famous beauty. Her family members became influential and dignified. She had 3 elder sisters. Madam of Guo State was her third sister. 2 aristocratic ladies in the middle went for a spring outing, riding on horses, well dressed, accompanied by many attendants, 3 horses in front and 3 horses behind. All the 9 figures here were female, including 7 beauties, 1 mother, and 1 little girl. We may appreciate the close-up with plump cheek. Take a close look and we can see woman in man's disguise. We can find the 2 aristocratic ladies in the middle. The elegant lady is probably Madam of Guo State. It's hard to say, it's a mystery. There was a series of paintings depicting graceful ladies in the Tang Dynasty palace, painted by Zhang Xuan and Zhou Fang. Paintable painting is one of the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. It was painted by Han Huang of the Tang Dynasty. The painting of 5 oxen depicted 5 bulls and cows in different postures. They look charmingly naive, lovely and adorable. Evening Banquet of Han Xizai was painted by Gu Hongzhong of the 5 dynasties. It is one of the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. The original is lost. Here is the copy of the Song Dynasty. The figure painting was in the format of a hand scroll more than 3 meters long, partitioned naturally by screens. Han Xizai was an official of the Tang Dynasty. The painting depicted his complicated frame of mind, politically frustrated, indulged in nightlife, yet with no smile. We may appreciate the close-up. There are 5 scenes in the painting. Han Xizai was listening to the plucking of pipa, beating drum for the dancers, washing hands and relaxing, listening to wind instruments, saying goodbye to the guests. He changed clothes several times. We can see the lifestyle, furnishing, dress, hat, and hairstyle of the Tang Dynasty. The man's headwear or hat was actually a piece of cloth called hood. The hood could have either hard or soft flaps. Here we can see the hood with soft flaps, and the costumes are trendy and chic. In the Song Dynasty, painting skills matured considerably. The painting favored abstract and implied meaning rather than direct expression. Meanwhile, the realistic style was in full bloom. The style was somewhat conservative due to the Neo-Confucianism. Painting of 1,000 miles of landscape was the only work left over by Wang Qian of the Northern Song Dynasty. It is one of the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. He died very young. The hand scroll is 12 meters long with expressive colors. The landscape is imposing, bluish, splendid, and magnificent. The mountain range, sea, and fishing village are detailed, vivid, and true to life. The rolling mountains are bluish, majestic, and imposing. What a wonderful landscape! Riverside scene on pure brightness was painted by Zhang Zeduan of the Northern Song Dynasty. It is the Chinese symphonic picture, China's Mona Lisa. It is one of the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. The entire piece was painted in hand scroll format, 528 centimeters in width, adopting shifting perspective. It captures the daily life of people at the capital Beijing, today's Kaifeng, on pure brightness, revealing the lifestyle of all levels of society from rich to poor, as well as prosperous economic activities in rural areas and the urban city. We can feel the hustle and the bustle of the busy street along the river. And the images of boats, bridges, and shops are geometrically accurate. Yuan dynasty witnessed the flourish of the Expressionist school, and many painters indulged in painting solely for personal pleasure. Dwelling in Fuchun Mountain was painted by Huang Gong Wang of the Yuan dynasty. It is ranked as one of the 10 best paintings in Chinese history, having had enormous influence on later ages. The landscape paintings of the Song and the Yuan dynasties were outstanding. Huang Gongwang was a Taoist. He led a hermit life, enjoying the free clouds and green mountains, advocating the natural, detached, and ethereal style. The landscape is fluid, pure, elegant, and varied. A stretch of landscape represents a stretch of spirit. The hand scroll was around 7 meters in width. It was burnt into 2 parts. 51 centimeters kept in Zhejiang Museum, and 637 centimeters in Taipei Palace Museum. Thus, the legendary artwork has 2 separate pieces. In the Ming and Qing dynasties, the painters boldly expressed their interests and feelings. They painted with vigor, caring little for meticulous refinement. Chinese painting gradually became artistically perfect during the Qing dynasty. Spring Dawn in Han Palace was painted by Qiu Ying of the Ming Dynasty. It is one of the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. It was in the format of a hand scroll 574 centimeters long. The painting depicts the daily chores in the Imperial Palace in spring dawn. Dressing up, watering plants and flowers, feeding pets, dancing, plucking the lute, playing chess, and reading. We can see lively images of concubines, court maids, princes, and eunuchs, well dressed in different postures, having nothing to do, yet fairly busy. Lonely Bird was painted by Zhu Da of the Qing dynasty, expressing the independent spirit of the artist. He later became a Taoist. The signature of his alias was rather unique, looking like laughing at it or crying over it. His painting was strange, exaggerated, peculiar, and meaningful, showing his wild and unrestrained personality. The lonely bird has a thin claw. The eye is small but calm, in a trance, looking up at the sky, conveying his ideal of remaining aloof from the secular world. Bamboo and a Rock was painted by Zheng Banqiao of the Qing dynasty. In the Qing dynasty, the 8 Yangshao eccentric painters broke through the convention to express the universe as they understood it. The most representative being Zheng Banqiao, a prestigious artist. He excelled in painting bamboo, the ink bamboo. The bamboo is aloof yet proud, always reaching up toward the sky, never bending under the snow. This is an unyielding spirit, never giving in to worldly conventions. He said, "When I paint bamboo, I paint not only its image, but also its spirit." "100 Steeds" was painted by Lang Shining of the Qing dynasty. It is one of the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. Qing dynasty was the summit of court painting. Lang Shining was the legendary Italian painter in the Qing dynasty palace. He first came to China as a Jesuit missionary. He was good at painting horses, combining Chinese and Western painting techniques, forming the unique palace style. The hand scroll is 102 centimeters in height and 813 centimeters in width. The painting depicts 100 steeds grazing and relaxing in the pasture, with gorgeous colors, complex composition, unique style, and artistic conception. Now, shall we have a look at modern painters in China? Qi Baishi is a celebrated contemporary artist. He is a versatile artist. He expressed his own understanding and originality. His shrimps are lifelike and abundant, with beard and nips. He does not paint shrimps as they are in nature, only their essence has been shown on the tableau. Often he drew only 1 or 2 shrimps, leaving the rest of the tableau empty. Without water, still giving the feeling that everything is vibrant and alive and ethereal. Frogs croaking out of the stream is another case in point. With only a couple of swimming tadpoles, the artist vividly presents an animated world full of life and vitality. Xu Beihong is another contemporary artist. He is particularly known for his ink and wash painting of horses, ingeniously merging Western techniques with classic Chinese approaches. The galloping horses are strong, heroic, vigorous, energetic, refreshed, and in high spirits. He is a patriotic artist. Here we can appreciate the standing horse and the galloping horse. So far, we have seen the top 10 paintings handed down from ancient China. They are Ode to Deity, Imperial Carriage, Ladies in Tang Palace, Paintable, Evening Banquet of Han Xizai, Thousand Miles of Landscape, Riverside Scene on Pure Brightness, Dwelling in the Fuchun Mountain, Spring Dawn in Han Palace, and 100 Steeds. Now, shall we come to the classification of Chinese painting? Chinese paintings can be classified according to subject matter and the technique of expression. The painting here meticulously depicts chickens and peonies. According to subject matter, it falls into the category of flower and bird painting. According to technique of expression, it is in fine brush style, elaborate and realistic, drawing the details. According to subject matter, Chinese paintings can be classified into landscape painting, figure painting, flower and bird painting, including plants and animals. Here we can see the adorable dogs and the noble peonies. They are flower and bird paintings. Ancient artists loved to paint plum, orchid, bamboo, and chrysanthemum. They are renowned as the Four Gentlemen. Not because these plants are any better than the others, but they represent the noble and upright character, ready to help each other under hard conditions. These are flower and bird paintings. Here's the ancient water town, a landscape painting. Here we can see two figure paintings. According to technique of expression, Chinese paintings can be classified into Xieyi School and Gongbi School. Xieyi School is the freehand style, further divided into great freehand style and a slight freehand style. Gongbi school is the fine brush style, further divided into line drawing, fine brush with heavy color and a fine brush with light color. Boneless painting is the skeletonless style. Xieyi School exaggerates freehand brushwork. Bold, liberal, and unrestrained, disregarding limitations of proportion, perspective, and light, emphasizing painters' feelings. Xieyi School is the fundamental approach. Chinese artists are unwilling to be restrained by reality. They do not copy reality. Artistic conception is most important. There are profound theories about Xieyi School. Gu Kaizhi of the Eastern Jin dynasty was the first to put forward the theory of making the form show the spirit. A painting should express how the artist looks at the object and convey his feelings and sentiments. His view was followed by further theories such as likeness in spirit resides in unlikeness. A painting should be something between likeness and unlikeness. Gongbi school uses fine brushwork, strict, detailed, and meticulous, paying close attention to details. The peacocks and peonies are painted in great detail. The boneless painting or skeletonless style has no contours. The lines are submerged in ink. Thus, we cannot see any lines. Besides, Chinese paintings are painted on different materials. According to format, they fall into categories of mural, screen, silk, album, fan, and scroll painting. Mural is wall painting, also known as fresco. We can also find paintings on screen, silk, album, and fan. In addition, paintings are frequently mounted against exquisite background to enhance aesthetic beauty. Scroll painting can be either horizontal or vertical, unique and tasteful. It is a must to introduce the book Painting Manual of Mustard Seed Garden. In the Ming Dynasty, xylography technology was improved. Xylography was woodblock printing. Painting Manual of Mustard Seed Garden was first published in 1679, with a total of 5 volumes. It was the first book with colored illustrations. The manual has been used by artists and students as textbook to learn basic painting skills. How to appreciate traditional Chinese paintings. We can appreciate Chinese paintings from a combination of 4 arts or 4 essentials in the order of poetry, calligraphy, painting, seal engraving, or seal cutting. The 4 arts supplement and enrich one another. Make it a rule to arrange them in the correct order. Chinese painting and poetry are closely related. Painting in poetry and poetry in painting has been one of the criteria for excellent works of art. Artistic conception is most important, vividly expressing flavor and tone. Some well-known painters are also poets. Look at the cowboys painted by Li Keran. The freehand painting is so poetic. The infancy of Chinese paintings predated the appearance of written characters. Chinese painting and calligraphy are closely related because lines are used in both. Lines are not only to draw contours but to express the artist's feelings. Lines may be straight or curved, hard or soft, thick or thin, pale or dark, and the ink may be dry or running. Chinese painting and calligraphy are different branches of art, yet they had the same origin, using the same tools. There are 4 treasures in the traditional Chinese study: writing and painting brush, ink stick, xuan paper, the snow white rice paper, ink slab or inkstone. Other implements include paperweight, brush holder, brush rack, seal, and red seal paste. Paperweight is placed on paper to prevent it from being blown away. Brush holder is used to hold writing and painting brushes. Brush rack is used to rest the writing or painting brush. The writing and painting brush is rather unique. It is made of animal hair, such as sheep, weasel, and rabbit hair. It feels soft, supple, elastic, and ductile. Ink stick is the black pigment made of pine soot, gelatin, and herbal medicine. In the ancient time, it was used to grind ink. Snow White Xuan paper is the rice paper, including the unprocessed, processed, and half-processed. The unprocessed or untreated rice paper tends to absorb water. The ink may seep, soak, blot, or spread out. It is suitable for freehand style, conveying artistic conception. The processed is suitable for fine brushwork. Ink slab or inkstone is made of special rare stone. It was used to grind ink. Many inkstones are exquisitely carved, really works of art. Nowadays, however, most people use prepared Chinese ink. Seal cutting is traditionally listed along with poetry, calligraphy, and painting as one of the four arts. The inscriptions and seals help to explain the painter's sentiments and also add decorative beauty to the painting. The art dates back to the Yan Dynasty, originating from the oracle inscriptions on tortoise shells and beast bones. It flourished in the Qing dynasty when people engraved their names on utensils to show ownership or authorship. Characters on seals may be cut in relief or in intaglio. Here's the seal of an official in the Warring States period, carved in relief. The characters are convex and protruding. The seal of Qi Shi is carved in intaglio. The characters are concave. There are two categories, official seal and private seal. Official seal was conferred as a token of authorization by the head of state on a subject whom he appointed to a high office. It was used by official department, standing for the office and the corresponding power. Here is the imperial jade seal of Emperor Qianlong of the Qing dynasty. Private seal was used by private individual to stamp personal name on various papers for purpose of authentication or as token of good faith. Here is the personal seal of Zheng Banqiao of the Qing dynasty. The 8 Yangzhou eccentric painters broke through the convention. Zheng Banqiao was the most representative. He excelled in painting ink bamboo. The 10 Chinese characters in the seal mean I hate, I cannot alleviate world hunger. Seals may be cut in various materials of stone, wood, horn, jade, agate, crystal, ivory, brass, and gold. Stone is most widely used. The red stained Changhua stone is called chicken blood stone. We can also see wood and agate seals. Emperor Qianlong of the Qing dynasty had many imperial jade seals. Here is his imperial jade seal decorated with a dragon. The gold seal of Dalai Lama is carved with 26 characters in Chinese, Tibetan, and Manchu. There are also crystal and ivory seals. Seals should be remarkable in 3 aspects: calligraphy, composition, and the engraver's handwork. Calligraphy comes first. The artist should be good at writing various styles of Chinese script. Composition is very important. The artist should know how to arrange a number of characters within a small space to achieve a graceful effect. Some characters have many strokes and others with very few. The engraver's handwork is a must. He should be familiar with various materials. The artist is engraving the seal with the chisel, and here is the red seal paste. Chinese painting and Western painting are 2 different forms of visual art. They differ in philosophy and expression. There are differences in philosophy. At the top-notch place in Confucianism and Taoism, heaven and earth are put in front of man. Heaven, earth, and man are the 3 grades. Man is a grain in the vast sea. Landscape was the main subject, while man was the supplementary part. Chinese painting gives priority to landscape, embodying the complete harmony between man and nature. Spring Outing was the first landscape painting in the world, painted by Zhan Ziqian of the Xieyi Dynasty in the 7th century. While in the West, landscape painting started from Britain in the 16th century. Landscape painting was well developed or fully developed in China, especially in the Song and Yuan dynasties. In ancient Greek philosophy, man is the master of all beings in the universe. The most beautiful and essential part of the world is the human body, say the naked sculpture like David. Landscape served as the background to make out the human body, being of minor importance. Western painting gives priority to figure and religion. Figure painting was well developed in the West. Here is Mona Lisa by Da Vinci. There are also differences in expression. Chinese artists disregard the limitations of proportion, perspective, and light. They break away from the restriction of time and space, expressing freely what he wants, expressing the painter's subjective feelings, making the form show the spirit. The artists include in their pictures both things which are far and things which are near, adopting the shifting perspective. Chinese paintings focus on artistic conception, abstract, between two-dimensional and three-dimensional, vividly expressing the flavor and tone. Western paintings strictly abide by the rule, with the four basic elements of fixed focal point, definite period of time, special venue, and distinctive theme, realistic and three-dimensional, expressing what he sees. All in all, Chinese graphic art largely depends on lines and brush strokes. Lines are not only to draw contours, but to express the artist's feelings. Lines may be straight or curved, hard or soft, thick or thin, pale or dark, and the ink may be dry or running. The painting is drawn on rice paper or silk, by ink and wash, and mounted on scroll. Western oil painting is created by color and light. The painting is drawn on canvas. Chinese paintings don't pay much attention to detail or background. Only the subject matter is painted in detail. The rest is blank. In Western paintings, all are painted in detail. Besides, the composition of a Chinese painting is simple, while that of a Western painting is rich and complicated. Chinese artists have a fervent love for the black and white world, simply with black ink on white paper, without bright, gorgeous colors. The use of ink can express the five colors. Extreme splendor ends in plain. The color scheme of Chinese painting is usually one-fold, like the shrimps painted by Qi. Qi enjoyed longevity. Year in, year out, he kept to the 7 commandments. No alcohol, no cigarette, no joy, no grief and anger, no daydream, no laziness, and no idle time. Western painting is abundant and bright in color. Vincent van Gogh was full of passion for life. His paintings featured gorgeous colors, fiery and unrestrained. He died of melancholia. In addition, Chinese painting always combines calligraphy. Western painting is just painting. In terms of dye stuff, Chinese painting uses ink and wash. The pigments are mineral and animal shells, durable and perpetual. Western artists use watercolor and grease paint. Thank you very much.